And welcome back into another edition of Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals between the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Well, this game, it was very intriguing at the start. Denver, they had a 13-point lead in the first quarter, but then OKC, they turned up the intensity and pretty much took over the game, and they did not relinquish the lead after the second quarter. Now, one thing I can say about the Denver Nuggets is they need more from their bench. They might need to start trading some guys. They might need that no, for sure they are gonna trade Michael Porter Jr. because throughout the entirety of the season and in the playoffs, he has had subpar games where he scored 6 points just like he did yesterday, and sometimes he's only scored 3 points. So you're not really getting anything from Michael Porter Jr. anymore if you are the Denver Nuggets. Now, a couple years ago during the championship run, he was one of the top contributors coming off the bench. He wasn't a starter, but he was coming off the bench. So Denver Nuggets last night, pretty much, like I just said a few seconds ago, started off great, but it didn't end great. Aaron Gordon, 8 points. Michael Porter Jr., 6 points. Nikola Jokic, 20 points. Jamal Murray, 13 points. Christian Braun, 19 points. Then we get to their bench production. You had three guys score 6 points each. Russell Westbrook, Jalen Pickett, Julian Swather, all scored 6 points each. Peyton Watson, 4 points. Hunter Tyson, 5 points. And Zeke Naji, 0 points. So that was the Denver Nuggets starters and bench production. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, balanced scoring as always. Chet Holmgren, 13 points. Jalen Williams, 24 points. Isaiah Hartenstein, 10 points. Shea Gillis Alexander, 35 points. Lugaz Dort, 6 points. Bench production, Jalen Williams, 0 points. Dylan Jones, 0 points. Onazmi Dang, 0 points. Kenrick Williams, 1 point. Alex Caruso, 11 points. Isaiah Joe, 5 points. Aaron Wiggins, 8 points. Cason Wallace, 7 points. AJ Mitchell, 5 points. One thing I could say, I'm just going to go to Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso, he had some valuable minutes yesterday. He pretty much, now I'm not going to say that he shut down Nikola Jokic, but what he did yesterday, he neutralized Nikola Jokic. He was on Nikola Jokic for most of the game, and you can see where Nikola Jokic, he didn't have that efficient of a game, but he had to play both sides of the floor. And that's one thing about Nikola Jokic. When you get him to play both sides of the court, he is going to wear down eventually. Because you can see with his plus minus total, he was a negative 23 in plus minus, and he played 37 minutes and didn't have the type of efficient game that we know that he have had in previous game sevens. Now, I credit Aaron Gordon because he came out there with a grade 2 leg sprain and he played 25 minutes, gave it a go. But in the end, we all knew that the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were going to take this game because over the last couple of years, see, OKC, they have been working for this moment over the last couple of years. Last year, they get bounced out of the second round by Dallas. The year before that, they almost make it to the playoffs. Yeah, they almost make it to the playoffs. and the year before that, they were one of the worst teams in the NBA. So for the last 3 years for the OKC Thunder, it has just been progression, just progression over the past 36 months. Last last night the largest lead for the OKC Thunder was 43 points, and the largest lead for the Denver Nuggets was 11. Now, that was in the first quarter. Now, one thing that I noticed, first quarter, Denver, they slowed the game down. They did. But one thing that I said that they were not going to be able to withstand this type of momentum because it was sometimes where Denver they would go down and miss a shot. Now if you miss shots against Oklahoma, they will make you pay. One missed shot, pass it out to Shea Gillis Alexander or anybody that's in the front court, and they pretty much they get a dunk there. That's how Game 7 was for the Thunder. Now, as you can see, their statistics. Last first quarter, efficiently, everything was going Denver's way. From the second to the fourth quarter, everything was going the Thunder way. Now, 3 pointers, they were 12 or 39. The Denver Nuggets only made 10 3 pointers. Free throw percentage, it was pretty much the same. 77% for the Nuggets, 79% for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Free throws, well, I just did free throws. So total rebounds +3 for the Denver Nuggets, 47-44. Offensive rebounds, they were even at 15. Defensive rebounds, +3 for the Denver Nuggets. Now, this is where the game turns in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Assists, +8 for the Thunder. Steals, +10 for the Thunder. Blocks, +1 for the Thunder. Turnovers. Denver Nuggets had 23 turnovers, and the Oklahoma City Thunder had 10. Now, what have I always said about turnovers in a game? Turnovers, that will hurt you. In basketball, turnovers, missed clock management, missing free throws, and bad schematics can lose you a game in the NBA and in the playoffs too. Because when you look at this and you see Denver, they were already at a disadvantage because the OKC Thunder they have a 8, 9 man, sometimes 10 man rotation when it comes to playing games in the playoffs. Last night, they had 8 guys. They had 8, 9 guys that were in the rotation last night. The Denver Nuggets only had 6. Well, excuse me, the Denver Nuggets only had 8. Now, for the Denver Nuggets, what they have to do is they have to find them a coach because they still don't have them a coach. I know that temporarily it was David Edelman, but long term David Edelman is not the guy for the Denver Nuggets because Nikola Jokic, he was one of the players that was most vocal because when you would look when Denver would call a timeout, the head coach he would not be nowhere in the huddle. It would always be Nikola Jokic drawing up plays, telling the guys, "Hey, you need to be at 3 corners court. You need to be in the middle. You need to be in the paint." So the guy that they have at the helm in Denver right now, he shows no enthusiasm. And when you have a generational talent like we all know Nikola Jokic is, the guy averages a triple double every time he is on the floor. He is a modern day Wilt Chamberlain. And I can say that right now because we all know, well, not everybody in the audience, but if you are 65 and up, you know how great Wilt Chamberlain was. So back to Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic, he needs a head coach that is going to be vocal. This guy wasn't vocal. This guy was like, I said this. I heard him say this after game two. Game two, he said that Shea Gildress Alexander, he baits the referees into calling fouls for him. If he does that, then the job for the Nuggets is to stop him from getting those kind of fouls and making everybody play through the whistle. But the Denver Nuggets, all throughout this season, they've had bad moments and they've had good moments. They've had more bad than good. That's why they're going home. That's why they're going back to the Mile High City. So Denver, as far as going into next season, one thing they do need to think about is trading people. They need to think about, I'm just going to go down a list and tell you who all I think that they need to trade. For starters, Michael Porter Jr., the guy, he isn't living up to his potential like he was. Michael Porter Jr., also, you got to get rid of some of these guys. You have to get rid of Valko Kankar because he's just a bench warmer. DeAndre Jordan, he's at the tail end of his career, so he might just go on ahead, ride off into the sunset. And also, everybody else outside of that is pretty much good. But you have Michael Porter Jr., Valko Kankar, DeAndre Jordan, and I'm thinking Darko Saric is the guy that those four guys, they need to go because they didn't give you any valuable minutes. They didn't at all. So Denver, offseason starts today for you. And also, got to get your head coach because David Edelman is not the guy. Now, as far as the OKC Thunder, they're facing the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Western Conference Finals start tomorrow night, and I'm not gonna give my prediction today because I need another 12 to 16 hours to sit on this because I'm going to just go ahead. There's not too many advantages in this series because OKC Thunder bench production averages 30 points a game. Timberwolves bench production averages 29 points per game. So everything is pretty much, both of these teams measure up the same. So there's not going to be too many blowouts in this series. I believe that it will be a tight 7-game series. That's what I think. This series is going to go the full 7. I do. And matchups. I'm gonna go to matchups. Thunder, they have SGA, superstar. Minnesota Timberwolves have Anthony Edwards, a superstar. Thunder have a lot of X factors. Lugaz Dort is an X factor. Jalen Williams is an X factor. Dylan Jones is an X factor. X factors for the Timberwolves: Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniels, and Dante DiVincenzo. They are the X factors. So I'm going to just go ahead and stop right there before I mistakenly give out my prediction. And with that's all. With that, we only had one game to talk about today. So that's all. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. As I say, the Western Conference Finals will start tomorrow night. It is between the OKC Thunder and Minnesota Timberwolves. And Wednesday night, the Eastern Conference Finals will start between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers. So, one last thing, everybody, I want to say is, remember, the key is always on time.